Talking about the articulation for the Hemoxian, we'll start off over at the legs. It is gorgeous with the separation of plastic and the color that you'll see here. The front toe can go up and down quite a bit, and you can also get a good shimmy on it from side to side. You also can, there is a good forward and downward movement. Due to the peg that's inside, it is going to affect its upward and downward movement at the heel, but you can still definitely get a good nice piece of rotation or articulation there. You also have a hinge and hinge on these parts. Now, this red plastic is rubbery and movable, which helps with the calf's articulation. Even though the leg is on a single joint, it can still look like it double hinges, which is gorgeous and amazing for its articulation. It does plug in on a peg for its thigh. There is some movement on the knee pad, but by moving the leg, you can see how that plastic shows off the red on its movement for the muscle. Now, there is another part inside of the waist. This is the channel that allows the leg to move on its own. But as you move forward past that, that's where you're going to start seeing that silver part on the thigh move. And with that in mind, you can see that you've got an amazing range of movement with the legs. Now, this is, of course, if you don't have the front skirt that is there, which is on a ball joint. The front skirt itself does have some ball joint movement on itself and will plug in. And I love how it actually connects with the side skirt, which by itself does have a little peg for it to plug into some of the weapons on the side, like the assault rifle, and it just plugs in into the back on a peg. Now, I will say the rear skirt, I had to glue it in because it would not stay at all connected. There are some challenges, like the rear skirt just falls right out, and that is something I'll need to glue a little bit later. But you can still get a great range of movement with the legs. On the waist, you still have a great, amazing forward movement. Getting to the upper waist and body and the chest, there is a peg that plugs into the waist, which will allow you to rotate a full 360. Then it does have a hinge, so you can go side to side. And that's again down here. And then you also have that rubbery plastic that's showing off like the spine, so you can still get on this hinge the forward and back movement for the body. There is a butterfly joint in the arms and a ball joint, which will allow for the armor to move for that body part right here. So we can just plug that back in. You can still full 360. The arm has a shoulder connection point, which has a hinge for the armor. There is a hinge, all on a ball joint and a single ball joint connection with a peg and a bit of some movement on that wrist guard. And behind it, you do have a hinge which will allow you to connect different parts onto the unit itself. The butterfly joint will allow it to move forward, but not backwards. You can still fully 360 on the arm, and it can move up and down. There is a tight ball joint for the neck, and on the head there is a hinge to a ball joint, so you are going to be able to see a ton of articulation for the unit to look up and down. There are also 4 different pairs of hands for the unit, which we will go over in the accessory section. Now we'll take a look at the friendly doggy that is called a Caucasus. This is a very fun accessory and friend because it can also turn into a giant railgun. It also has the ability to articulate the handle. There's some articulation in the head. It can also turn into a backpack, which would give our guy an extra set of arms, which is fantastic. And on top of that, it acts as a physical backpack for the ammo clips that can also go into the rifle. Connection point is just like on the arms, which this is like a weird T-mail, clips right in. The arm does not stay pegged in, but it does have a hinge, can rotate. It's only a single hinge on the arms, but it still does give it a lot of movement there. And on the ball joint for the hand, they do hinge open for the claws, but they do all 4 have a connecting point here, which will allow you to attach other accessories onto the handle. And now, when you attach that again, and you go onto the backpack, and you can also have little covers to close them off if you don't want them open. And that just pegs in on the back of our guy. Some parts will sometimes fall off, but they do just easily fit back in. I'm sure I can go ahead and super glue a few pieces, but that's not a major issue on it. Still got a bit of the translucent red that's there, so that's really nice. And removing the dog head and extending the actual barrel will give you the full weapon. Now, there is a blast effect that also does attach into the barrel. That's impressive. And there's also some ball joint hinge here for the dog. And that's exciting because you can also attach other accessories to the dog. So if you wanted to get one of the rifles, pegs right in. And you've got some fun accessorizing that you can do with the unit. And since it's on a ball joint, it is something that can move around. So that's impressive. I mean, you can also put it onto the guns onto the wrist. And look at that. That is ridiculous. That he can go that crazy with firepower on his forearms. And technically can go all full-on gun. Oh, that's amazing. Now we're going to take a look at the stand. And I am impressed by this massive included part of it. Now, what's really beneficial of it is that there is the part for it to attach for the model kit, but it can just come right off, and then you're still left with the stand. It opens up. Well, actually, here, before we even talk about that, in the Tastier unit, it actually comes with this metal part that will let you tell you Tastier UTX 6030 Tactical Neuron Synchronization Avatar. Like, that's a nice little shininess to it, and I'm using the gray, not the darker plastic, to give it a little bit of some pop. But it does open up to showcase a lot of different accessories that, again, I love. It has the option of being able to hold all of the accessories, the hands that the unit's going to use, the 4 swords, 2 blades, 2 guns, 2 rifles, 2 fillers for the rifles, an extra clip putting you at 4, and all of this closes all up right there for our guy. And Caucasus dog. But not only do they stay inside there, but you can pull up, because it hinges right at the point of my left thumb. Comes up. You rotate. Close. Take that out. And now you're showing off the ammo stash, which I love because, again, you can make it look like he's getting ready to armor up. Like, all right, which hands is he going to need for today? Weapons, guns, any of it. And super impressive, even with it still having a small little gap that little things can kind of fall out of, it still does an amazing job of storing and holding all of the little pieces that you get inside of the model kit, all wrapped up nice. Are you not coming down? Oh, you will want to make sure that if you're missing any pieces, it will let you know. It will not close flush. And this extra piece is for the stand itself, because you can also take the arms of Caucasus and put them on to give it a look like it's going to be arming up our guy. So with a simple, again, a reapplying of the unit, we can add all the arms to the unit and have that very cool look that he's going to get all armed up, literally. I need to do a better photo of that. But yes, definitely, we are going to be able to use all of these accessories that are included, which also adds to the blade effects, which I didn't go over. Now, on to the accessories. There are a ton, as you can see, as we've gone over, as we will continue to mention so many accessories. So, you get 4 clear red blades, 2 blade slashing effects, 2 blast effects that do separate, 2 handgun blast effects, rifle blast effects that can be broken apart, of course the holders for the blades, 2 knife blades, 2 handguns, with a barrel sliding effect. How it connects onto the base can be removed. There's also this peg that can be pulled apart. You can also attach some pieces here or here. Rifles, holder unit. I like how the rifle also has a stock that does hinge. Hinge is open, and you can attach a ammo clip. And I love that. Let's see. Or attaching this piece. A closed fist with a ball joint on the thumb. A pair of gun trigger finger hands with another ball joint on the thumb. A closed gripping handle with a ball joint on the thumb. And a pair of open hands that can be reaching or grabbing. For a total pair of 4 different types of hands. And remove on the forearm in order to attach the blade, and you can attach that to a handle to give him a sword, or for the hand already holding. And you technically can do a double blade. You can also Darth Maul it and double blade it. It looks funny when you don't use the finger trigger ones, because the trigger finger hand just looks like he's holding it, which is why it's super important that you use the right trigger hand, because that just looks great. That looks great opened or closed. So the blast effect looks really fun on the handgun. And whether you're using the big blast effect or the regular blast effect, and you can attach again like the sword or the blades I mean, of course, he can actually have hands, but you can see how it drastically changes his options. For the installation of the coat that comes with the Tastier unit, it is a little bit snug on the arms, as you're supposed to push it through and assemble it so that the sleeve cover openings align with the peg positions. It's a little tough, but that's not bad. I would have liked it to be a little looser, but then you just peg it in for the shoulder portion and you're good to go. For the jacket itself, there are some back pegs for the upper armor that will be able to hold it in. Then the arms go in separately, which is nice, so it's not restricted by the body of the coat. And I did have to use some tweezers to thread through the belt for the front and the clips that hold the handguns, which are very snug, so you'll have to push it through. It will fit, but overall, it was very nice. I liked it, and I'm happy that I did it at the very end, because this would have been a bit of a pain to work with it on the articulation. But it looks amazing. There's some metal wire inside of the jacket, so it allows it for some moving and some articulation, or more posing, I should say. But next, we have some eyes. Initially, the unit itself will come with 4, which is like a little happy eyes. You've got some standard eyes, some open clear eyes, and a slit on the eyes. Now the Tastier unit will come with 1 and 2 versions of eyes that are similar with sharpness. These kind of barcode ones, and a 4th. As for size comparison, it looks very well with it being around 8.5 inches, comparative to different Kotobukiya, SH Figuarts, Transformers, other model kits like from the Figure-Rise Standard, and Gundam. The Motor Nuclear do pose some size niceness to it, as does the ZZA Blue Flame, and our recent Tallgeese. But overall, this unit was amazing. Building it was great. The plastic was relatively soft, so cleanup was a bit of a challenge. But visually, I loved it. I will even say it got me a little bit more interested into some of the other model kits that I may have passed up on the past. I am a huge fan of metal frames, and I love articulation, and this definitely fits the bill. The range of customization that you have for it is amazing. Again, getting to look at all the storage possibilities for the unit as well, which was another complaint that I have with a lot of action figures and model kits in the past. I don't mind you giving me stuff, but I don't like just throwing it into a baggie. And here, either you throw it into the stand or into the unit itself. Like, it can fit all over the place. Cannot wait for the next unit that is in the works. It looks like a blue Oni. I'll throw some pictures up here. Then, I will also be looking forward to some of their future model kit reviews that we have here at the warehouse. This just... Yes, I cannot say thank you enough to Gundam Central. You guys have got a lot of really great selections. You all can pick this up, and I'll leave the link in the description below. Even with the slight issue with the light switch being a bit challenging on the head unit, and I have to take the back part to get to it all the time, it's still a great model kit. Size-wise is great. I will also say that the black light effects did not really pop as much, but that's just, again, not everything needs that. But I would love to have a bit more metal frame-ness in my units. Also, again, I don't know how the single joints are going to work in future cases for articulation, but it did fantastic here, so definitely looking forward to the next unit in the line, as well as how the rest of Hemoxian's model kits are going to be building, because I think there even be some future releases that I'm also excited to look forward to. For the box itself, it came in initially at about 5 pounds, which is a lot of plastic, but it also is because it comes with some of the cardboard and the packaging. Overall, a very nice, beefy looking box with a lot of detail packaged not only inside of the manual, but on the outside. It shows you all sorts of variations and poses for Hemoxian, Caucasus, and the base. future placement of your items on the side of the box. It is a very nice looking presentation. Peek at what it did look like without the coat and the coat. Its back setup, also the variations of the eyes, how bright the eyes are, the plastic that is very rubbery, and that little red foil on the box. Presentation on just the box itself, you already know you're getting into an amazing looking product. And unpackaging it, we get a very nice 3 setup box with a trifold, which can act as a backdrop for our Hemoxian unit, with a little detail on the back of it as well. And every box is separated, so what you see here for the GTN 008 is going to be for that one. That's for the base assembly box. It separates everything inside there and shows you what you've got in the inside. Tastier unit, the 8th Research Institute. What do we have on the back? All the different runners, product information, and I love how, again, it's all separated, so there's no confusion about one item being in another box. And I will say I was super happy. I thought I misplaced some of the eyes for the unit, and it wasn't until reviewing this video that I had seen where everything was, and it's all packaged up with the water slide decals. I love this blueprint included effect. There's a translation for you. And again, everything is packaged fantastically. It almost felt like a newspaper or a comic book while I was going through it, which I thought was really nice. But the instructions are explained very well on what you're going to need to do on your steps and how to build our Hemoxian, which again, it just came out gorgeous with it and everything. And it was a fast build. I got it done in about a weekend, to be really honest with you. Other included parts like the eyes, the light of weird, it's not a sticker, I don't know. But the cleanup and working on all of the plastic was amazing. The only place I had some slight challenges was on the plastic red rubberiness itself. As you try to squeeze plastic, it will bend and go into other spaces that it has available. So I would have to pull on the plastic to stretch it, as it were, and then cut it. So I wouldn't see so many of the nub marks you normally found on plastic. But I loved how this kit came and looked like after everything was all said and done. The included blast effects, all of the accessories, with only a small handful of leftover plastic parts that really technically weren't needed or were repeats from the runner. Oh, I love this unit. As always, thank you again, everyone, for coming on over to the warehouse. I do have to say a major thank you to everyone for watching and following. We have just hit partner on the channel, and that's a huge thank you to everybody. So thanks again for coming for curiosity and staying for good times. I look forward to more releases for you all, and I will see you at the next release.